I'm going to read the book Epic of Ramayana written by Sri.Madduri Padmavathi Vajjulu Garu. It is in English. We'll go through the book. Okay. Ramayana, the enchanting epic. Valmiki, the first poet. Long ago, deep in the forest, was an ashram that belonged to sage Valmiki. The sage built his ashram on the banks of river Tamasa and lived there along with his disciples. Located in a peaceful atmosphere, Valmiki's ashram became a harmonious place to live in, as it always resounded with recitals of mantras and Vedas. Having known about the serenity of the place, many sages started living there with families. Sage Valmiki provided place for all who desired to live there, which made it livelier. The sons of the sages who lived there became disciples of sage Valmiki. Of all the disciples, he had a young man named Bharadwaja was the sage's favorite. Bharadwaja not only was a devoted disciple but also took good care of his teacher always. He followed sage Valmiki wherever he went and personally took care of all his needs. One day, as usual, sage Valmiki visited the river Tamasa along with Bharadwaja. Delighted to see the pure water of the river, Valmiki decided to bathe in the river. He entered the water looking at the pleasant surroundings of the forest. His mind was calm and pleasant. Senses of experienced extreme serenity during his bath. As he looked around, he found a couple of lovely birds flying together. He was extremely happy to see the great bonding of the birds shared and continued to look at them. Suddenly, the male bird was shot by an arrow and died instantaneously. Shocked to see its companion falling to the ground with the blood dripping all over, the female bird helplessly circled over the body of its mate. Valmiki too was astounded at the sudden incident and looked around to find out who had shot the bird. As the sage's eyes fell on the hunter who killed the bird, his heart ached with agony and his mind filled with anger. Out of his extreme anger, he cursed the hunter that just like the bird, he too would not live long. The curse was uttered by him in Sanskrit, and the words in it were well arranged, which fell in a rhythm. Still looking at the dead bird and the helpless female bird, sage Valmiki sat with tear-filled eyes for a long time. After he got over the incident, he thought about his curse on the hunter. He knew that due to the impact of the curse, the hunter would not live long. As he still thought about it, the sage remembered the words he used to curse the hunter. Recalling them, he was amazed that they fell into rhythm. Bharadwaja too stood there amazed to find that his teacher had uttered the curse in a poetic form. Both of them did not know what it was, but they walked back to the ashram thinking about it. Once Valmiki reached his ashram, he recited the poem once again. Bharadwaja sat near his feet and checked if it could be sung in a tune. The rhythmic nature of the verse fitted into the most melodious tune, which amazed both Valmiki and Bharadwaja. As Valmiki pondered over it again and again, he wondered how he could utter the verse in such a fashion. He knew not what it was. At the same moment, the divine sage Narada arrived at the ashram of sage Valmiki. Overwhelmed by the visit of his mentor, Valmiki received him with utmost respect and affection. Serving him milk and fruits, he treated him with great courtesy and care along with his disciples. Narada's visit to the ashram had provided Valmiki an opportunity to clarify his doubts from his guru. He decided to explain the morning's incident to Narada and seek his advice. But before he could speak, sage Narada said, "Oh, sage Valmiki, the words you uttered today out of your sorrow marked the beginning of a great era in literature. Unaware of what you said, you have recited a poem, a sloka, with rhyming words. To be the first one to utter the first sloka, you would be remembered by the world forever as first poet Adikavi." As says Valmiki heard his words in awe, Narada said, "Valmiki, having initiated this divine process, do not stop it here. Take a forward step without delay and at once start reciting Ramayana, the story of Lord Rama, in the same fashion through slokas. Ramayana would be known forever as Adikavya, the first epic that would exist till the end of this world. Etched along with it would be your name for the generations to come." On hearing says Narada's words, says Valmiki trembled in fear. He was apprehensive if he could shoulder such a huge responsibility. Nullifying all his fears, says Narada reassured that he was the chosen one to accomplish the task. Settling down a little with the thought of reciting Ramayana, Valmiki bowed to says Narada and sought a few clarifications from him. After seeking Narada's permission, Valmiki asked him, "O divine sage, there is nothing you do not know. Please tell me about the most virtuous, truthful, caring person of all the human beings. Enlighten me with the details of such a person who is also brave, valiant, humble, good-looking, self-determined, and who is radiant with good conduct." Pleading sage Narada to quench his inquisitiveness, he again said, "O sage, being the son of Brahma, the creator of the world, and also a knowledgeable sage who wandered in all the three worlds, I am certain that you know the answers to all my questions. Please bless me with the details." Listening to the humble, sincere plea of Valmiki, Narada decided to enlighten him with answers and cautioned him to listen attentively. He then told him that the person whom he asked about was none other than Lord Rama, who possessed all the qualities he mentioned. He then narrated him the story of Rama, explaining him in detail about Rama's birth, childhood, education, marriage, exile to forest, abduction of Sita by Ravana, fierce battle between Rama and Ravana, and finally the triumphant return of Rama along with his wife and brother to Ayodhya. Valmiki was spellbound to hear the story of Rama and was grateful to Narada for bestowing on him the knowledge he sought. Happy to be served courteously, Narada left the ashram, blessing Valmiki wholeheartedly again reminding him of his task to start writing Ramayana. After says Narada left his ashram, says Valmiki discussed the contents of his conversation with Bharadwaja and sat in deep thought, still apprehensive about writing Ramayana. Meanwhile, Lord Brahma appeared before him all of a sudden. Prostrating before the Lord, Valmiki tried to explain his apprehensions to Brahma. Stopping him midway, Lord Brahma said, "O holy sage, the experience of you have gained through the past several years is on one side, and the task of writing Ramayana is on the other side. Do not hesitate. You have my blessings with you." As says Narada explained, you have the ability to write the story of Ramayana in the poetic form. You would earn great fame forever through this task. Go ahead without hesitation. Explaining him in several ways, Lord Brahma convinced Valmiki to take up the task of writing Ramayana. Shortly, Valmiki recited slokas daily, which Bharadwaja recorded carefully. The slokas he recited in his devotion is nothing but Ramayana, the Adi Kavya. Thank you.